Hello, my beautiful people. How are you? Hope everyone has had a fantastic day. I have had a great day. I did not leave my house until later today because it was so friggin' humid. So bad. I don't know if we're about to get storms or not. I haven't looked at the forecast, but I didn't leave the house until like 5:30 today, and as soon as I stepped out, I took a shower, so I dried my hair. And as soon as I stepped out the door, my hair was wet again from sweating profusely, and I hadn't even done anything. So, um, shout out though to my new. I mentioned this in another video, but I wanted to bring it in here and show you guys for anybody that has curly hair, because it can be a blessing and a curse. It took me my whole life to start appreciating my curly hair because a lot of people pay good money to have the curls that I do, and I always wanted to straighten them, and I have paid a lot of money to straighten them, but I don't anymore. I don't even remember the last time that I have straightened my hair. But it does a lot of damage to it. Plus, if you use chemicals to do it, it's very expensive, especially if your hair is longer. And even though my hair looks short, if you straighten it, it is pretty long. But I've used this for a long time, the Bedhead Curls Rock Amplifier. That's about like the only thing that I really spend money on when it comes to my hair is like my hair gel. So that's like $14 and you can get it on sale, but it is salon quality. But this guys, the leave-in conditioner, it's a company called Being. So good. This along with that, like the humidity usually would have made my hair like so frizzy today, and it didn't. I have made it all day without putting my hair back, without using a clip, without it being frizzy. Look, those are still defined. They have been through all kinds of crazy stuff today, and it's like going on 10 o'clock and I am still doing good. So I hope one day I can get some sponsorships, because Lord knows that Ben Verified should have sponsored me a long time ago for shouting them out, because they helped me out a lot. I want to be their poster child one day. Shout out Ben Verified. Anyway, it started. Ben Verified is funny because it's something that I was prepared to use before I actually had to use it, because when I had a little bit of extra money when we sold our house, I was listening to a series of TikToks by a lady that buys old paper, any kind of old paper, and she would go to estate sales and she would go online, and she had purchased from this lady's estate a whole bunch of her old things, and in them were diaries that she kept, journals, and she was keeping I think she was these were from when she was in high school, right at the end of her high school career, and she was writing about going on dates, and I was drawn into it because she was in San Diego. So a lot of the places, because I used to live in San Diego, so a lot of the places that she mentioned, I knew where they were and where she was going and what she was doing and stuff. I could relate to it. And she was talking about this guy she had a crush on, and that she just would go on and on about these dates that she went on, or these guys that would come in and out of their lives. And so we were all like tuned in to see who she ended up with, and I just couldn't wait. And so one of the letters that she would write back and forth to people, or every now and then the lady whose channel it was who had all these things would leave something like within view and sight where we could like see a little bit of like her last name or her address. And so I got a Ben Verified subscription when I had a little extra money, and I searched this lady, and I found out before. I don't know if I'm the only one. I didn't call it out and ruin it for everybody, but I found out who she married before we got to the end of the series. I actually need to go back and finish, because I ruined it for myself once I found out who it was, and never went back and listened to the rest of her letters. But yeah, I felt like I could dig and find anything at that point, and I actually did find out some things about my life then. How I think I looked myself up back then, but the things that I found that were of importance to me weren't listed at that time. So it was good that I had that tool though, because I went back to it for when I needed to dig. So although people can pay and people can go online and they can request that their information not be listed. I know one person that has done this because her information used to be listed and now it's not. But you can do that. So you can't find out everything, but if they're unsuspecting of you doing this, because this person did it after I called all of that out on my videos, if they're unsuspecting and they don't know about everything that's out there on them, you can definitely go and dig up a lot and be your own private investigator with been verified. I used to have to use Accurate for skip tracing that I did at a collection agency, so that's what gave me the original idea, even though I didn't use Accurate. Anyway, the video I wanted to do today, I'm almost 6 minutes in, so forgive me guys. I haven't done a speaking video since just the one a few days ago, but I haven't been doing them every day, so I'm kind of chatty. I wanted to do a video about anger and how even when you're on your path, you're not perfect, and you're going to have agents of the devil that try to elicit these responses from you via doing things to you, such as, attacks, trying to argue with you, trying to come out of nowhere and pick fights, temptation, or just trying to get you to react in any way. Sometimes they'll try to steal things from you. Sometimes they'll try to steal even your essence and act like they're something that they're not, with wearing a mask, even though they can't do this. They can't effectively do this, because no matter how many masks you wear or how long you try to wear them, eventually every mask will fall off. No one can wear a mask forever. No one. And they will meet someone that calls them out or calls something out to where it will make it shift and fall, because you can't pretend like something that you're not forever. And the essence of someone else is like a fingerprint. There's no one like them. We are diamonds. We are all unique, like snowflakes. There's no two that are the same. I don't care how much you try to act like them or dress like them or talk like them or whatever. There's just no two that are the same. So no one can do that for too long. Just a sidebar there. But in your walk, once you have gained your peace and you don't want to let anyone disturb that peace, the devil will know what you're doing. It's going to exude from your pores, your authenticity and the path that you're on and how you're determined and you are dedicated. So it's not going to stop anybody from trying. You just have to stop paying it attention. And anger is one of the things that will come up when you get those attacks. You'll be tempted to go back to your old self that will have that short fuse, or that will tell someone off or cuss someone out or whatever. And I want you guys to use it as a gauge. Be the observer. Observe the anger. Use it as a gauge for information, people, places, or things that you do not wish to tolerate in your life anymore. It will be an indicator for you to move around. Something makes you angry. It's a trigger, so something that you need to work on. And you can address that in private with yourself for however long and for whatever reasons that you need to, depending on what triggered you with that situation. But anger is excellent in telling you when something is not for you anymore. Anger in yourself is an emotion, but it's a protection mechanism. If you are angry, you're trying to protect something. You're trying to keep something from happening so that it doesn't hurt you, or that someone doesn't use you as a doormat, or whatever it may be. But observe the anger. You don't have to react to the anger. You don't have to start yelling, screaming, doing things that bring you out of your peaceful character. Let anyone disturb your peace by that anger. Just know when it arises in you that it's time for you to pack up your precious energy and say peace on out and move in the opposite direction of that. It's gonna take some practice, and it's okay if you slip up. Just course correct. but use it as a gauge, as an indicator. Don't use it as something that brings upon a knee-jerk reaction so that they get what they want, or that you step out of your power, you give your energy away to something that is not deserving. Because once you have found your way to a place of your enlightenment journey, you don't want to give your peace up to anyone. You understand now that your energy is precious and you don't want anything to make you regress. You don't want to give them what they want, because low vibrational energies are banking on you giving them what they want, so that the narratives and the stories that they have spun and gossiped about and tried to smear you with, they need you to react so that it will confirm that what they're saying is true. So you want to step around the anger, be like, I'm going around. You can continue to act however you want to act. Think of them as amateurs. They just do not know what they do. Lord, please forgive them. If they knew, what they were doing, they wouldn't be doing it. So the fact that they're trying to muster up this kind of response from me and making me angry just shows that they're still low vibrationals, lower frequencies. They need their own time and space to figure those things out for themselves. And that me engaging with that is only going to make me look like they want me to look like. It's going to make me step out of my character that I've worked so hard to change. It is going to confirm things for other people that are not true about you anymore because you slipped up. It is going to possibly pull you back into those karmic cycles that you were stuck in for so long, and you have broken those cycles and you have gotten out of it. So don't be tempted to go back in. This could include anything from like road rage. I've seen several news headings around here in the past few years where road rage has resulted in people pulling guns and shooting and killing people on the interstate, or people being followed and attacked because of things that happen on the road. And when you let those things elicit that response from you, you don't take time out to think about what you're doing, or how in a split second that anger that you let that spark ignite led into a whole chain of events that altered your life, someone else's life, a whole bunch of other people's lives forever, and in the worst possible way. So if you can see if somebody's riding your butt on the road, or they're trying to rush you, just simply pull over. Nothing is worth you have if you're if you're late, if you're running late, and you're trying to rush or whatever. Like, nothing is that important to where you can't be a couple more minutes late. That not only you're showing up late, but you're showing up pissed off, and you're gonna be mad about what happened. You're gonna in turn be frustrated with other people that are around you after it happened, and you're just gonna make everything worse. Everything's gonna spiral out of control because of something that you could have just breathed through and observed and just noticed that it wasn't important enough for you to act on. It's something that you can learn from and just move over, get in the other lane. Wave those people on by. Say, if you want to ride somebody's butt, it's not going to be my butt. You can go and ride someone else's butt, and then it's on them to how they react to your behavior. Or I've done that so many times. That is such a relevant thing to me, that people ride my butt and try to make me go faster, and I just love getting over. I love getting over, or I love letting someone in, just on through, go on through. It's okay. It's okay. I don't need to get anywhere as soon as you're trying to get somewhere. So let me just get out of your way, and you can go on doing what you're doing to someone else, or to keep frustrating yourself, or whatever. That pot is boiling, but not for me. I will refuse to let that pot boil, that steam brew for me. It's not going to happen. I have come too far. So I have also seen The examples I wrote down about, I used to watch the first 48. There are new ones on, I haven't seen them, but I used to watch first 48 all of the time. And the one that always stood out for me, because I'd watched so many that I had started to feel bad for the people that were murderers, but only really in this one case. And it was because this girl got a ride from this guy at the gas station, and he gave her a ride to this house. And he had money laying out like in his console, and she took his money and she ran into the house, and he went and knocked on the door, was yelling, she never came back out. And so he grabbed his gun out of the car and he fired shots into the house, just to scare her, not to do anything, but he just wanted to release that steam and that anger in a way that made her feel like he was in control. And in doing that, he shot someone that was inside of the house that was completely unrelated to the incident with the money. And they tracked this guy down by cameras at the gas station where he picked that girl up at, and he admitted to shooting into that house. And then they told him that he had killed a guy that he didn't even know, and he was devastated. And he had 2 young sons, and he was telling his best friend, as they were handcuffing him and taking him to jail, that he'd take care of his sons. He was just crying and devastated that he had shot and killed someone, and that he had hurt somebody that he didn't even know, that he took them out of their families' lives and hurt all of them, and that he was hurting his own family and himself and all of his friends because he wasn't going to be in any of their lives anymore. And it was just horrible. I know I shouldn't have felt bad for somebody that murdered someone, but in his rage, he didn't think to calm himself down before he did something that he didn't know what the results were going to be when he fired. He didn't know what chain reaction it was going to have and how many lives it was going to alter, because he was mad over, I think she stole $10 or $20. $10 or $20. So many lives were devastated. And then this other podcast that I was watching or listening to about NDEs, and guys, I don't believe all of the NDEs. Use your discernment if you decide to listen to those, because there's a lot of people that get on there for publicity, and they're trying to push their product or their website or their podcast or their books. There's lots of people that I pass on, like the guy with the magic, the guy that was using the magic, and this other guy who was trying to sell books on remedies, natural remedies. He was selling several books, and he said that even though he tried to pass it off as an NDE, but he was saying that somebody was coming to him at night and telling him that he had to write these books, and the information came from the other side, but he was really just trying to push his books. But anyway, this guy was talking, and he was a black gentleman, and he was talking about racism had made him very angry man. And after his NDE, he was shown that like love is the canvas in which all of our lives are painted on, and that we need to paint the best possible picture possible, one that we would be proud of. And that the only thing that he changed when he came back was his perspective, his mindset, and that it was his own fault that he had let racism, because he can't control other people, right? He could only control himself. So he controlled his mindset and changed his perspective, and he realized all of the possibilities that he in his life that he had blocked by letting anger lead the way, that had lived half his life just being very angry all the time and having this chip on his shoulder because of a few people that he had encountered, not embracing all of the positive experiences. And he chose, it was a choice. He realized that he chose, that's why he did it to himself, and that he could make another choice to change the perspective and not let anger lead the way, and then open his life up to endless possibilities as far as what his reality was going to be, and how it didn't have to just encompass the anger and the bad experiences that he had. But those are just a couple of examples don't let anyone get you so hot and heated that you end up doing something that you regret and that could have such an impact on other people and yourself that you can't take it back. What's done is done, and I can't think of when I first started going through all the things that I have been through in the last almost year and a half. Um, yes, being locked out of my uncle's house made me angry. But I was expecting something like that, not that exact thing, just by his behavior. Because once you start calling people's behavior out, once you stand in your power and you don't give it away by letting them make you angry, who's going to be upset by you calling out the truth, by you speaking your own truth from your heart, from your authenticity? That is your power. Who is going to be upset by you doing that more than someone who is being exposed by you telling your truth, whose lies and whose facade is going to crumble by you telling your truth? Those are the people. This is the second part of the anger, is those are the people that are going to use anger to control you. Usually if someone uses their anger against you, it's an attempt to control you, to make you do what they want you to do, and to be scared of them and to be fearful. And they will use that anger as a weapon to back you down from standing in your power. And you can't do that either, because God gives us these things. Adversity is used to build character. So he's strengthening you. Remember, God qualifies the called. Many are called, few are chosen, but he is going to qualify you by these things. So where you might not feel, because I did feel a calling on my life, and it was something very strong, very emotional for me, but I couldn't explain what I was called to do. And you're not always going to be called like that. Sometimes your calling can be in these situations where you need to stand in your power and speak your truth. God is calling you to do that. And in other situations in your life, you may have been a doormat. You may have let people intimidate you and use anger and fear to control you, to where you didn't do anything about it the first few times, but then you began to realize that it only kept you small. It only kept you hidden away to where other people couldn't see your shine. It only kept tyranny multiplying, because you, who could have stood up and done something about it, didn't do anything. So they got a reward. The terrorists got a reward from silencing another person that they victimized, silencing someone that they had a plan against, and they didn't say, no, stop this, I'm going to tell everybody about it. I did that when I went through my divorce. I didn't say anything about all the things that had happened to me, about the violence that had happened in my home. I didn't say anything about it. And so it was a reward. It was a payoff to this person that thought, well, that worked. And a lot of grown people, grown children out there will throw tantrums because in their life they had someone that responded to those tantrums. They had mothers or fathers, friends, anybody in their circle that responded when they got very angry and they showed up ugly and mean and intimidating, that they would stomp their feet and yell and throw things, get physical with people, break things, and it worked for them. It got people to stop. It got people to do what they wanted them to do. So it reinforced that behavior. And so as children, they've never addressed their trauma or where that anger comes from inside of them, to where they thought to be able to use that in the first place. So it just keeps multiplying and multiplying. So they pull it out. That's their get out of jail free card. I'm going to throw a tantrum. I'm going to get angry. I'm going to use things as weapons, people, places, things, objects, words, my behavior as a weapon to make this person bend at my will and do what I want them to do. And when you say, no, I know my worth and I'm not going to do that, I'm going to start speaking. I'm going to start using my power for my own good and for others' good. Be ready, because they're going to try to do whatever they can to silence you, to manipulate others. If someone starts believing you or saying, that rings kind of true, or I've seen this person do that before, or someone else said that this person did that. Believe me, their mask is going to start to fall off. So anger is their get out of jail free card. That's what they've always used. Time and time again, they've banked on this for helping them to get out of these sketchy situations, these situations that they thought might expose them for who they really are. So they have to use it. They have to try anyway. And eventually it'll stop working, because when enough people have seen it, it's not effective anymore. But so many people have to stand up to put that fire out. So many people have to stand up, stand in their power, speak their truth, and be willing to not let anything deter them from that path. That could be your calling. That could be God calling you. And in those situations where you didn't do anything, He was preparing you. He was showing you what it looks like when you don't do anything. And then He will make you a witness to others that are being hurt by these people, by these beings like you. And then you will know that that might not have happened if I had just put a stop to it when it was happening to me. That in me allowing that, it caused more people to be hurt. So He's preparing you. He qualifies the called. That's why people that are anointed are going to be hidden in plain sight, because they're not going to be in places that you would expect them to be. They're going to have tattoos. They're going to cuss. They're going to have a past full of addictions. They're going to be meek and seemingly not strong. But little did you know, the whole time God was preparing them to stand up and fight against what they witnessed and what had been done to them, in order to stop it from happening to other people. So, you're not always going to be just, come to in a dream. You're not going to be just switch on, God's calling me. No, you have to pay attention to these things. It's going to slowly happen to you sometimes. It's not going to be an automatic thing where it could be years of enduring and witnessing and being prepared to step into your calling. That's how God works. So when I talk about signs, synchronicities, and downloads, they're going to come to you in songs. They're going to come to you in dreams. They're going to come to you in things being repeated that this is a theme. Let me tune into this. Let me pay attention to this, because it must mean something. If I keep seeing it this often, there's no coincidences. There's no accidents. If you keep seeing something is repeating in your life, whether it be seeing something, hearing something, being a witness to something, it means something. This is telling you to act, to pay attention to it. What is God telling me to do with this? Pray about it. Meditate on it. He will let you know. And when the opportunity arises, you'll be like, tapped in. I'm tapped in. Let's go. I know exactly what to do with this, because God, whether I knew it or not, has prepared me for this moment, and it is my time to shine. And believe me, they don't want you to shine. So it's going to come with opposition. Opposition is where your biggest opportunities lie. Biggest opportunities. That is what, like you standing next to someone who is low vibrational, your light is going to shine on them and expose their darkness. You're going to expose them. That's what being the light is all about, is exposing the darkness. I am a light. I've been in dark places. I have shone my light on all of these things for the world to see. Lord, let your will be done. You're going to bring everything that's done in the dark to the light. And sometimes that involves using you to be that light, to shine your light and expose all of those things, the the critters, the amateurs, they can't run and hide when they've got this big ass spotlight on them. There's nowhere to go. And in comparison, next to you, people are going to see them for who they are. And that's a very scary and intimidating thing. That's how powerful you are. That they have tried to use all of this energy and all of these tactics to try and make you into something that you're not, so that people don't see them for what they are. When in fact, you held all of the power just by being the truth. The truth will set you all free. And meaning, if you have been someone that had to endure something that was painful or traumatic to you, it will set you free because you spoke up. It will set others that it might have happened to because you didn't speak up in the past. It will set them free. It will also set those people free who tried to be tyrants, because even if they have to endure painful changes, a powerful awakening, whatever being exposed means in their life, it's going to set them free, because they're going to be forced to sit by themselves and face themselves and actually work on themselves and change these things about themselves, because people have said, no, I saw what you did there and it's not going to fly with me. And then everybody else is going to, you've exposed it, so they can't keep doing it anymore. They can't keep doing it. Everyone knows, once you know, you can't go back. That's how powerful the truth is. So you know how powerful it is that you are the whole time someone that felt beat down by these fear mongers that tried to control you, when you held the power all along. That's why they had to try so hard. And that's how, when you give it up to God, you let God work through you, you let vengeance be his, you don't let anything that they do anger you in return, so that you act out and you become the tyrant, and it's going to just destroy all of the fabulous progress that you made on yourself and the example that you've set for the world. Because that's what I hope that I'm doing, that my endurance, that my temperance, me being calm, being the eye of the storm, the center of the storm, no matter what's going on around me, I'm going to hold this light, and I'm going to be calm, and I'm going to listen to the Lord, and I'm going to be connected to him, and he will help me. He will guide me. He will keep me healthy. He will show me how strong that I already was, and that everything that I need is already within me. He's prepared me for that. I trust his plan. I hope that I have been that for other people. You can't let them have what they want, because you were prepared to be in the position that you're in, and God is testing you. Are you going to do it? Are you like Kendrick with the halftime show? Is he really going to do it? Yes, you're really going to do it. And I've set an example for you, and that's all that I can do. Everybody has to put their own oxygen mask on. Save yourself. The truth will set us all free in one way or another. So don't let the anger turn you into creating another problem for yourself or many others. Be temperance. Be temperance. Be the balance. Be the eye of the storm. Because when you, it's funny how God works, because in the way that he's called you and prepared you, he is also turning the heat up on your enemies in a way. Like, karma and time are not linear. So you don't get to know when their karma might not even involve you. They could be in a pot, like frogs, just swimming around, blowing bubbles, floating on their back the whole time. God is turning up the heat slowly, 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 until before they know it, when they didn't even know that anything was happening, before they know it, it's done. It's too late. They're cooked. That's how God works. And he is going to consume them with so many problems of their own that might not have anything to do with you. You will be safely removed out of the way from any retaliation, and they won't have had any time to get out of the way because of how slow and strategic and methodical that he has been the whole time that they were comfortable. They were seemingly in bliss, and they had celebrated so early, thinking that they had gotten you, but he is slowly turning up the heat and consuming them with their own problems so much, in fact, that they won't have any time or energy left to play puppet master in anybody else's life, because they have a storm. They are in the middle of a storm themselves, when they thought that they were putting everybody else in a storm or controlling someone else's life. That's how they'll leave you alone. That's how they have to concede, because no way would they ever wave the white flag. God knows that. God has seen how hard that they try to cover up their own character. He's seen all of the games they played. He's seen the gossip, the lies. He's seen all of that. So he knows that they're not just going to be like, okay, I'm done. No, they've done the same things over and over, like insanity, expecting a different outcome when there was no different outcome. He just had to trick them by making them think that they had won the whole time they were in a pot that was rising to a boil. And then they were like, oh, I didn't know this was happening to me. That's how God works. That's how God works. I don't believe he crashes, lightning down from the heavens. I don't believe he sends people to hell. I don't believe any of that. But karma will come. You don't get to say when, you don't get to say how. You leave all of that in God's hands, and he will reward you for being temperance, for not fighting that fire with fire. Don't meet anger with anger. So he will reward you with that. That's very important. Like, don't let it stop you. Be transparent in who you are. Like, for instance, with me, everything about me, I'm putting all this stuff online. I don't have any blinds I have some shears in my front window. Like, my apartment, except for like outside of I have 3 big windows in my apartment in my front room, and that you could see everything that I'm doing. My life is pretty much a show. You could see everything I'm doing. I'm telling you everything I'm doing on here. I go out in public all the time. I do everything. I'm even recording all of the things that I do out in public. I'm completely transparent. So anything that anybody tries to say about me is verifiable, because you can look at pretty much my whole life from one angle or another and, compare what's being said or what's being done to what I'm actually doing. And you can see, like, I don't even have to defend myself. I'm putting it all out there for you to see. So as long as you're transparent, people know that you're being authentic, because you're showing them everything. There's nothing that's hidden. The only thing that I hide from people are my goals, and that's because I don't want anyone to try and get in front of them. I don't want anybody to try and be able to manipulate anything that I'm working towards, because that is private to me. It's none of your business. Just like your goals and stuff are none of my business. I pray for you, and that you get everything that your heart desires, and that you align with it, and that you raise your vibrations, and you get it the right way. I want you to have everything. I want you to have everything that your heart desires, so that we can all heal and raise our vibrations and help each other. So in whatever way that you can get that positively and with gratitude, that's what I want for you. So just know, protect your peace. I was listening to a lot of things lately. Kevin Gates. I love Kevin Gates, and I know they say that you shouldn't meet like your heroes or your whoever you put on a pedestal, because everything's out there in the headlines that there's things that they may do in their private life. They're not living with a front room open. They're not putting everything online like I am. You don't really know everything except for what they're being shown. But he's been on this podcast circuit lately, and he did all of them that I've seen. The interviews were either in a tuxedo or a suit, which is not how most people show up to podcasts. And then there's been a lot of headlines, people doing their reaction videos talking about he has lost his mind because he rocks himself and he's very confident. And if you go out and you speak that about yourself, that's the narrative that people try to spin, is that you're crazy. That if you love yourself and you're rocking with yourself and you don't care what anybody else thinks, that you're crazy. And that's how far away we are from being authentic and rocking ourselves. And I want to encourage all of you. Who cares what anybody says? Do not care about what anybody else says. You rock yourself. Even if you hear them loud and clear being naysayers or throwing salt on your name, you keep rocking yourself and you keep going, because Nobody robs empty houses. They wouldn't be trying to make them look bad if they didn't know that they were shining and they know they're shining, and they hate that because that means in order for them to shine, they would have to put in hard work. They would have to build their confidence, and they're not ready to do that. So they rather bring someone else down than do what they had to do to get where they are in order to be able to be confident in saying those things about themselves and not caring what other people's thinking. That's hard work. That's a lot of hard work. And so if you've put in that hard work, you know what it took for you to get there. So who cares? You're not going to give your power away in order to argue with them about who you are and what you stand for and what you've had to do to get there. You're not going to argue with anybody. I don't care what they say. I know. I know what it took for me to get here and to be believing in myself, because God showed me when I thought that the things that happened in my life would have killed me. God said, no. That's what you thought. That's what you thought. You have to get out of your own way. And the things that you built up as fear, I'm going to make you face them head on. I thank God every day for helping me to do it scared. Because when I first started going to court and having all these different Zoom meetings and people saying bad things about me to my face and having to sit there and be stoic, I was scared. I was scared. I wouldn't get any sleep for days before. I would stop eating. Like, I was scared. But God conditioned me to face my fears and to know my worth, regardless of what everybody was saying about me, because I know I'm a great mother. I know I have an awesome bond with my children. I can't control anything that's happening in their lives, but I can control me being an example for them to follow in what they're in. That if I can do this, you can do this. And if you turn to God, and I've told them several times, turn to God for everything that you need. Go inside for everything that you need, because that's all that you need. Be the eye of the storm. God will show you the way. And then I thank God for helping me to do it anointed, because the transformation and the change that has taken place in my life is night and day. The way that I faced court at the end of the end of me having to go to court for the custody and stuff, I was a totally different person walking into that courtroom in preparation. I didn't even prepare. I let God work through me in the things that I said and did. And I know I did a good job in making my case, regardless of what anybody else chose to do with it. I am not a lawyer, but I did an amazing job in there stating the facts, not letting anything that I said ever be different. What I started saying from the beginning is exactly the same story. I never changed what my truth was, because it was the truth. You can't change the truth. People have to keep changing things to fit their narrative. If that, first of all, you don't remember the lies you tell if they're lies, and two, you have to keep changing them if you can't dispel what the other person is saying. So it's ever evolving song and dance. But yeah, thank God for helping you to do it scared, pushing you to face that fear and to walk right through it, leading you through the battle, because the only way out is through. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. If He has put you there, He has called you. He has called you to do that. So you have to soldier up, and He's going to give you the armor to do it. Thank Him for that armor. Thank you for helping me to put on your armor, letting me put on your armor every day. Thank you for leading me through this storm. Thank you for going ahead and paving the way. Thank you for hearing what they said, seeing what they did, and knowing what was in their heart when I didn't. That I lean not on my own understanding, because I know that you have protected me from the things that I didn't need to know yet, so that I could stay focused, grounded, and balanced while I do what you sent me here to do with this anointing on my head. You know how powerful that is? That is so powerful, and in a humbling way, because you never would have thought you could have done it, and there would have never been any way for you to do it on your own if God hadn't helped you. That is a fact. That is a fact. That makes me tear up, because It is so powerful because that's the only way that I'm sitting here talking to you today. The only way that I'm sitting here talking to you today. Like, period. So, what else was I gonna say? I have notes. I rarely look down at them anymore. I'm just like, whew. Yeah, oh, I got off the topic with Kevin Gates because I was going to quote him. And don't be afraid to quote other people, because in the signs, synchronicities, and downloads that you get from your spiritual team, that's how you're going to learn. You're going to learn by hearing things from other people. They're going to say things that resonate with you and ring true with the mission that you're on. So let them inspire you and give them credit when they inspire you. And Kevin Gates inspires me. What does he say? Hold on. Sacrifice your old habits of putting up with BS for your new life. That once you honor the commitments that you make to yourself, it builds self-confidence. And then you can be empowered to do it again and again the right way, the effective way. What else did he say? Let God change you so you can be of better service to humanity. He was talking about how a friend of his reached out and said that he was having legal struggles and going through all kinds of things right now, and where Kevin could have helped him out. He told him, like, look, I would love to help you out, but I want you to trust in what God is doing in your life right now, and He is shaping you in a way that you can be of better service to yourself and humanity, and I don't want to interfere with that. I think you should focus on what God's doing for you and let that happen. Go with the flow. Don't try to resist, because the longer that you resist, the longer that you're not going to learn the lesson and level up. And that's what God's trying to do to you. My favorite thing that he says, that he rewards loyalty with loyalty, and you reward disloyalty with distance. And that's what you should do with anger. That's where I'm going to leave it at. That's what you should do with anger. If they're authentic and they're being truthful and loyal in your sense of the definition, then yeah, be loyal. But if they're lying on you and they're trying to manipulate you and control you with their anger, or to attack you and get you out of your character so that you display anger and act on that, then you reward that disloyalty with distance. That's it. Distance. Just get the hell on out of there. I love you. God loves you. You're never alone. I'll see you later. Bye.